Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel, and welcome to Machine Learning and AI Tutorials. We are currently witnessing the AI revolution, and we are probably the first generation in the human history who is privileged to witness the AI revolution. Some people take all these things for granted, however, we take this very seriously. Namely, on this channel we are continuously exploring different models and we explain how to install and run different AI models locally. In this video tutorial, we are going to explain how to install and run locally the Agno multimodal agent framework, and we are going to explain how to use locally hosted large language models to develop amazing AI agents and tools with Agno. Since a lot of viewers of this channel are completely new to AI and machine learning, let's briefly explain what are AI agents. AI agents are actually the kings of artificial intelligence. They stand at the top and they combine large language models, reinforcement learning, vision model, searching internet, searching finance websites, Googling, doing all sorts of things. For example, your AI agent can go over thousands of websites, obtain information, analyze graphs, do all sorts of things and obtain useful information. Describe in 10 sentences what is happening. For example, you can develop a finance advisor AI agent that will every morning give you advice where to invest your money or what stocks to sell or even cryptocurrencies. That AI agent can go over hundreds of financial websites, analyze graphs, analyze time series of stocks, and obtain some useful information. But before we explain how to install and run locally Agno or Agno, however you like to pronounce the name, let's first explain why we like this AI development framework and why we decided to create a video about it. Namely, those of you who are our subscribers or who follow this channel know very well that in the past we have created several video tutorials covering and explaining different AI agent development frameworks. And these frameworks can be, roughly speaking, split into two classes. One class are AI agent development frameworks that are completely graphical. That is, they're based on a block diagram, you make a graph, you combine blocks, and you just click on run and the agent runs. And the issue with that is that this is a black box approach. You don't know what's happening behind the scene. You don't have the direct access to the Python code. And the second class of AI agent development frameworks is purely Python based. And the drawback over there is that they are too complex. You will have to write 50 or 100 or even thousands lines of Python code in order to implement a simple agent. On the other hand, Agno is completely different. You can literally in 15 or even 10 lines of code implement a simple agent, and when I say simple I mean under quotes, that will search internet, obtain some information, perform analysis, and you will run it relatively simply. That is, you don't need to install hundreds of libraries in order to run this agent. And one of the big advantages of Agno is that you can couple it and you can use locally hosted large language models. That is, you don't need an API key, you don't need anything else. And to summarize, Agno is a super powerful and lightweight framework for building AI agents. And here's a brief demonstration. This code that's only 12 lines long will do the following. The code will search internet, obtain information, and then use a locally hosted large language model to analyze the information and to provide answers. Namely, we have coupled Agno with Ollama hosted large language models, and in this case we are using Alibaba's QWen 32 billion parameters model, which is in our opinion and according to our test the most powerful lightweight model that can be executed on a local computer. And over here with this line we are asking the question, find the current weather in Los Angeles, California, and on the basis of the response give the recommendation of what to wear. And over here you can see the response. You will see the weather information, you'll see what's happening, how this weather information is obtained, and over here you'll see the recommendation what to wear. You can see the current weather, date during the daytime, light layers like a t-shirt or long sleeved shirt, that's actually a recommendation. However, the weather is given over here, it's 65 Fahrenheit or 18 degrees. And you can see the recommendation. And this is just a simple illustration that can be used as a proof of principle. You can do way more complex things. For example, you can search internet to obtain financial information. You can analyze graphs. You can do all sorts of things. And one of the biggest advantages of this approach is that you don't need to buy an external API to access and to use large language model. You're using a large language model directly from your computer. And over here, I installed and tested several large language models by using Ollama. You can see that I tested QWen, Llama 3.1, etc. Okay, so let's start with installation. The first step is to install Ollama. To install Ollama, go to the Ollama website given over here, then click on download, click on Windows or Linux, what is your operating system, and click on download for Windows and save the installation file. It's going to take maybe 30 seconds up to a minute to completely download Ollama, depending on how fast is your internet connection. After Ollama is downloaded, go to the Downloads folder and double click on the installation file, and the installation file is really straightforward. You will just see it in just a second. So here we are, click on Install, and over here Ollama will be installed. Now, while Ollama is installing, let me show you one very important thing. Now, we need to download a model for Ollama that enables tool calling. Now, if you type this, ollama.com, then /search $C is equal to tools, you will see a list of Ollama models, or better to say large language models that can be executed by using Ollama that support the tool calling. Namely, if you want to implement an AI agent, that AI agent has to use a tool, and a tool is a very important part of a large language model. Not all large language models provide tool calling. For example, DeepSeek or some reasoning models, they don't provide tool calling. And let's see what are the models. In this video tutorial, I'm going to mainly focus on QWen, since in my opinion this is the best model, taking into account its size, which is only 32 billion parameters, and its power. In fact, this model has the performance that is almost similar to very large language models, such as, for example, DeepSeek R1, which has 650 billion parameters. Another good selection is, for example, Llama 3.2 with 3 billion parameters model. You can select this model if you have, for example, an older GPU, such as, for example, 2060 NVIDIA or something even older than that. Then, of course, you can go with Llama 3.1 with, for example, 8 billion parameters models. I'm going to also test Llama 3.1 in this video tutorial in addition to QWen. Then you can also go with Mistral. Mistral is also a good option and a good model, which is not very large, only 7 billion parameters. Also, you can go with QWen 2.5, also good selection. You can, for example, go with 32 billion parameters or with 14B parameters, etc. After Ollama is installed, you can click here and you will see this cute icon over here. And if you click, you can see logs, or you can quit Ollama. Don't quit Ollama. An approach for verifying the Ollama installation is to start a command prompt, and in the command prompt simply type Ollama. And if Ollama is properly installed, you should see this generic response. Okay, let's download the model. Again, go to this tool models, and over here click on QWen, or simply search in the model toolbar QWen. And over here you will see the installation command. Copy this command, go over here, paste this command, however change run to pull, and press enter. And now the model will be downloaded. In parallel to downloading this model, we can actually start another terminal and we can also download another model. So let's do that. To do that, click here again, open a command prompt or new session of command prompt, go over here to Tools Model and then scroll down and find Llama 3.1, open it, or simply search over here in Models Llama 3.1, select 8B parameters models, click here, go to the new terminal, paste this command, and over here instead of run, type pool and press enter, and this will download the second model. Now, if you see some errors while downloading two models in parallels, then don't do that, right? Wait until the first model is downloaded and download the second one. Or you don't need to download two models. You can, for example, to test everything, first download Llama 3.1. Okay, so let's wait and let's be patient, and we will continue after both models are downloaded. After some time, in the first terminal, you will see this message. This means that the model is downloaded. And in the second terminal, you will see this message. This means that Llama 3.1 model is downloaded. Okay, to verify that these models are indeed downloaded and that they exist on our system, type Ollama list and you will see both models. The next step is to locally test these models, that is to test them inside of the terminal. However, before we do that, let me show you my computer specs such that you can roughly estimate how powerful your hardware should be. First of all, here's my CPU over here. Here you can see the specs, and over here you can see my GPU. It's NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090. Okay, so let's start first with QWen and let's see if it's working. To test the model, type this line and you should see the model terminal over here. Let's wait. Let's wait for a while until the model is loaded, and over here you will see after some time that model will be loaded. Here it is. The memory will be filled in with the model parameters. Okay, and now we can ask the question, who are you? And let's see what happens. And you can see that the model responds, which is really good. Okay, so let's exit by pressing Ctrl D. And now, a nice thing about Ollama is that Ollama for some time keeps the model in the memory in the case you want to start it again, since there is some time it takes to load the models. That is some lead time. Okay, so let's run the second model and let's test it. Let's type Ollama run and then the model name. Here it is. Paste the model name and let's try to run it. This model is not so big. Let's see what happens with the memory. You can see that the model is offloaded and a new model is loaded in the memory. And let's ask the question, who are you? Now soon Llama 4 point something will come out, and this will be probably the best model. Okay, now that we have tested both models, let's proceed with installing all the necessary libraries and with creating our first AI agent. First of all, make sure that you go to your base C drive, and in your base C drive you need to execute several commands. Now, before you execute these commands, let's make sure that you have Python on your system. Type this and you should see your Python version. If you don't have Python, then install Python before you proceed further. So let's create a new folder, call it for example test Agno, and let's navigate to this folder. Oops, I made an error here, should be test Agno. Oops, again error, let me write it nicely. And inside of this folder we need to create a Python virtual environment. First execute this command. And after you create the Python virtual environment, you need to activate it. You will activate it like this. And now you're inside of your Python virtual environment and you can install the necessary libraries. We just need 3 libraries. We need Ollama, duck, ghost -search, and we need Agno. And let's install these libraries. The first library that is Llama is used to interact with the Ollama framework. DuckDuckGo is a search tool, and Agno is our AI agentic framework. Okay, so let's wait. We are all set. Let's type pip list. Oops, I made an error here. Let me correct something. Here I need to type pip list to see all the libraries and all the packages. You will see them over here. Good. The next step is to create our first code. To do that, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code by pressing this. Let me now close this and let me create a new file. I'm going to call the file as test2.py. Make sure that you save it inside of this folder, create a file, and to save time, I'm simply going to copy and paste the code I wrote previously. And here's the minimal code. First of all, from agno.agent we import agent. This will enable us to define the agent over here. Then from agno.models.ollama we import Ollama. This will enable us to create the agent Ollama interface and to use the locally hosted large language models. Then from agno.tools.duckduckgo import DuckDuckGo tools, and this will enable us to define the tool that is to search internet. Okay, so what do we do over here? We define our agent, we specify model is equal to Ollama, and over here we need to specify the model name. Now if you go back to the terminal, you can type Ollama list to see the model names. So let's select first of all QWen, paste it over here. Let me do that. Then let's set here for the search engine fixed max results. Let's go with 5. Then let's click show tools calls true. That is, let's specify that we want to show when we are calling the tool, and let's specify markdown is equal to true to have a proper formatting. And over here we call the agent and we print the response. And let's ask a question. So the question is, what is the weather? Let's say find weather information in Boston, MA, Massachusetts, and on the basis of the response, provide recommendation on what to wear. Okay, so this is just a simple illustration on how to use this model, and this is the simplest possible question, and that's it. Now, to execute this code in Visual Studio Code, we need to press Ctrl-Shift-P. Then you need to search for Python, select interpreter, then make sure that you select the interpreter inside of the created virtual environment, and then you're ready to go and you can press enter, and let's see what's happening. Okay, you can see that we are thinking. Here's the question. Now what's happening behind the scene? We are searching internet, we are using Ollama to interpret the results and to provide the recommendation. So let's see what happens. Okay. You can see running DuckDuckGo search, that is, we are running the tool. We can see what is the query, current weather Boston, Massachusetts. Let's see what will happen. And here it is, beautiful. Here's the weather information. And then you can actually obtain more information from this response. However, I don't see somehow in this response the actual weather information for some reason. So let's run it again. Let me try to reformulate this. Find current weather in Boston. Let's be more specific. Temperature and humidity. Let's be more specific. Temperature, humidity, and let's see, temperature, humidity, wind, and let's run again and let's see what happens. And after being more specific, you will see here the response. You will see that it's around 50 Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius with 51 degrees humidity and 11 miles per hour winds, and you can see the recommendation over here on what to wear on the basis of the response. Okay, that's it. Let's now test the second model. That is, let's test Llama 3.1. So let's copy the model from here, and then let's paste the model here. And let's save this, and let's run this again. And let's see what will happen. Now, instead of calling the Alibaba's QWen, we are calling a simpler and a smaller model, and here's the answer over here. You can see that the answer is much better in the case of QWen. Okay, that's all for today. I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I'm creating, please press the like and subscribe buttons, and see you in the next video tutorial.